So hello and welcome back to another video, guys. Now yes, I did go to see Tomb Raider. Been to see 4 films this weekend, so I thought I'd start reviewing them because I want to talk about all the films which I see. And I thought I'd go in order of when I saw them. So the first film I saw this weekend was Tomb Raider, so I'm going to be talking about that film today. Now I know there's not a lot of excitement for this new Tomb Raider film, which is very strange because I thought it looked very good. But anyway, here we go. So what I'm going to do is just like my Black Panther review. This is only my second review here on this channel, guys. So please bear with me a bit. I'm still getting into these, still figuring out how they're going to go. But yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to go over the story, the characters, the acting, the directing, and the visuals, and then we're going to give it a mark out of 10. So anyway, Tomb Raider, yep, brand new film, brand new Lara Croft film, first one since the Angelina Jolie disaster films. So yeah, the story to this film, it's pretty simple. It's an action film. It's a female Indiana Jones, basically. But yeah, it's a really fun story. It's pretty simple at the end of the day. The story flows really well. The pacing, which more comes under directing, but the pacing helps the story go really well. So yeah, there are going to be some spoilers as well. I'm going to throw that out there now because I'm going to dive into the film a bit here. And so I really like the start of the story. When you see Lara, before she's gone on her adventure, you see her a bit down. She's trying to make her own name for herself, whereas her aunt is here with everything her dad made, because of course he has a very, very successful company, big old house as well, lovely jubbly, and of course she's trying to make her own name for herself. So you see Lara at the start say, no, I don't want this is not what I want. I want to be my own person, which is really good. It makes you connect with the character a bit more. There's also a bike sequence at the start, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was really fun. Yeah, and there are a few twists and turns in the film, like her dad actually being alive on the island. Now I think about it, it was pretty obvious he was probably still going to be alive. But I generally thought he would be dead because of the games. Her dad isn't in the games. I haven't played the new prequel Tomb Raider game, so I'm not sure if he's in that. I hear he probably is, because I hear this film is very faithful to that game. But yeah, I knew her dad weren't in the original Lara Croft's. He wasn't in the second one, I don't think. So I was thinking her dad must surely be dead. But anyway, he popped up. So yeah, that was kind of surprising for me. Although thinking about it, it probably should have been obvious. But the villain was okay in the film. I'll get more onto him when we talk about the characters. Seeing her dad die, I thought was kind of predictable. I was wondering because I saw that one of the infected blokes touched her dad at one point near the end of the story. For those who have seen the film, you'll know what I mean. And I was thinking, well, surely he's infected. And it took a couple minutes for him to show that he was infected. But that was pretty cool. And the only issue I have with the film, really, because when you look at it, you can't go into these films thinking anything too serious, because it is a silly action film at the end of the day. It's Tomb Raider films, based off a video game, for God's sake. The only issue I had with the film was they all seem to walk off injuries pretty easily, and they all survived some injuries where should have killed them, really. But anyway, that is the fun of these films. I mean, there's a lot of other action films that do this as well. Also, they end it on a cliffhanger. I really hope it gets answered. I really do want another Tomb Raider film, I can't lie. These are always very fun films, even when they're as bad as the Angelina Jolie ones. But on to characters. There's only 4 characters, really, which I bothered to write about, because there's only 4 characters which I think people are going to care about. So, of course, Lara Croft. You really feel for her character at points in this film, I think. You know, they do a good job of making you actually connect with this character. Some scenes to do with her motivation seem a bit forced, I think. But overall, though, you get a really good... You really get behind the character in this film. You really want her to succeed, which is good, because you can tell she's going through a lot. She's pushed and beaten around in this film a lot. By the end of it, you really do want her to come out on top. And luckily she does, because it's her film. Then we got Richard Croft, of course, her dad. And you understand why his character's doing the things he does. They give a nice little backstory to him, which is quite nice. But yeah, didn't really make much sense why he didn't go with Laura to stop the villain in the first place. When they're in the cave and Laura, they found the tomb, the villains, they found what they were looking for. and Laura goes off to stop them, and he stays behind in his cave at first. That didn't make much sense. So he's been on the island for 7 years or something like that, making sure they don't go into this tomb. They found it, and he's not going to bother trying to stop them. Of course, he does change his mind, but at first it was a bit like, come on, man, what's going on here? But yeah, anyway, he does it. His death was a bit sad, but pretty predictable. I didn't find it too sad, but he had a nice death. Then we got Matthias Vogel, I think is how you pronounce the villain's name, who is a decent villain, but some more info as to who he is would have been nice. I felt he was a bit forced at times, because he seemed more desperate to fulfill the needs of his bosses, his employers, than his actual own goal. Because his goal was just to get off the island. He had to do what his bosses wanted. But really, he could have worked with Laura, just called the helicopters in, just done what they done, really, because all they done is held a bow and arrow up to the helicopter pilots and said, "You're going to take us home, yeah?" He could have done that. I mean, just saying. So yeah, I felt his villain, he was a good villain, he was, but it was more to do with the actor, I think, which made the villain good, than the character himself, because the character himself was a bit hard to understand, in the sense of, does he really want this? I mean, but anyway, he was okay. Then we got Luo Ren, a decent character who popped up every now and then, the Japanese bloke who was helping Lara at the start, and then he popped up a couple times near the end. Yeah, he was kind of boring, I'm not going to lie. He didn't really do much for the plot in the end, if you think about it. I mean, at the start he was alright, but then throughout the rest of the film, when he got shot, he might as well have died then. But of course, he walks out. And then let's look at the acting. So we got Alicia Vikander, I think is how you say her surname. I've only seen her in one other film, and that was A Man from U.N.C.L.E. So I really didn't know much about her, but she is amazing in this film. She is easily the best thing about this film. Her acting is incredible. And yeah, every single scene, you believed everything that she was doing because she was so into it. When she had scenes where she was in pain, like when she got stabbed, you really believed it. The acting from her was fantastic. This actress deserves to be in a lot more. She deserves to have a lot of good action parts like this and some more serious parts, that's for sure. She was absolutely fantastic. Then we got Dominic West playing her father, who played the part good, but the emotional scenes could have been better. But I really don't feel that was his fault. I felt that was more to do with the dialogue and the scripts and the directing. The director probably didn't give him a huge amount of influence there, I don't think. But, you know, he was good for what he was in it. Walton Goggins, I think that's how you say his surname, plays the villain. And I remember him from a few Quentin Tarantino films, of course. He was absolutely amazing in this. Because even though he didn't have the best written character, you really believed that this guy was angry. He was going to do whatever it takes to make sure that his mission succeeded. He played this part incredibly well. And again, him and Alicia were just fantastic in this film. Them two, both fantastic acting. Then we got Daniel Wu, who plays our side character, and he does a good job for the small part he's in it. Like when he was drunk at the start, he played that well. That was pretty cool. So the director is Luo Ren, I think is how you say his name. Again, apologies if I've done that wrong. I probably have. And he does a good job with the directing. Typical action film. You know, he's not a very unique director, I'm not going to lie. There wasn't much in it which made me go, oh, wow. The water scenes were really good when they were on a boat at the start and they hit a storm. That was really, really good. He does a really good job with the pacing. And the action sequences are not hard to follow. They're quite good. Because a lot of action directors make action sequences hard to follow. Like, you notice it a lot in these Liam Neeson action films that are coming out lately. But they're not hard to follow in this film. Really good. The problem that I had was how easily characters seem to get over things. The director would make the actors look completely fine in the next scene and they'd be walking about all normal. There'd be no limping or anything. And again, I don't blame the actors for that, because it is down to the director to say, right, this is what I want you to do in this scene. I want you to limp here or something. And they were, in certain scenes, like you would see Alicia limping about in a couple scenes afterwards. But for the most part, all the characters seem to recover very quickly, which I do put a lot of that onto the director. Overall, though, he nailed the action stuff, and that's what this film is about. Okay, so the last bit is the visuals. Weren't loads of visuals in this film. It didn't have a huge budget. I mean, it had a pretty big budget. It is Warner Brothers after all. But it didn't have a massive budget, so there weren't loads of action sequences needed. But a load of visuals needed, sorry. But when they did use them heavily, because there were a few scenes where they used them heavily, it looked really good, surprisingly. Which is good, because the last film I talked about was Black Panther, and the action sequences in this looks better than a lot of them in Black Panther, I'm not going to lie, through the visuals. One of the scenes that I want to talk about is when Laura's going down this river, and then she ends up on an old plane and a tree trunk, and it looks incredible. You really believe it. It's fantastic. All the stuff at the end when they were actually in the tomb looked fantastic as well. The visuals on the infected look fantastic. Really wasn't any bad visuals in this film, I don't think, off the top of my head. After only seeing it once, I can't remember anything that stuck out as being bad. The water at the start, the storm looked fantastic. So overall, I'm going to give this film out of 10. I'm going to give it a 6. Because at the end of the day, it is a silly film, so I can't give it too high of a score. But it is a really fun action film, guys. If you like your action films, you're going to like this. To me, it really is a female Indiana Jones. And this was much better than the last Indiana Jones film, I'll say that. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. Please hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave a message, and I'll see you guys next time for another video.